mortal, I have been sent by Lord Lucifer Morningstar, Lord and King of Hell, to subject you under my hellish reign. I require a Baja Blast and Love Island. Rah!
Okay.
And welcome back to another episode of Grips and Corks. My throat hurts, and I'm here with my co-host,
Paul, as usual. And why does your throat hurt, DJ?
I don't know. Something just came over me and I blacked out for a couple seconds. I hope I didn't say anything crazy or weird.
Yeah, it wouldn't be from a man or anything.
That was probably the most, straight my voice has ever sounded.
Wait, what's your straightest voice?
Brah.
Ayo, Cindy! You wanna go on down to the pub later, babe? Ha ha! Barbara! What's going on, babe?
Literally fled. Fleeing for my life.
It just came back from my frat boy days.
Oh, Jesus.
It's just always been inside me.
Oh.
There's a straight Paul in there somewhere.
According to our friend Dan, there's a straight man in all of us.
Right. I think your straight man has been drowned by all the Titanic lore and all the Princess Diana and all the pearls and just all that shit.
In my psyche, Princess Diana, Queen Elizabeth II, Jackie Kennedy, and Grace Kennedy got together and drowned whatever bit of heterosexuality I had, like a kitten in a sack.
That's very much what happened.
They just, you know that part in Of Mice and Men where the big guy, smothers, the woman, breaks her neck by accident?
Mm-hmm.
They did that, but on purpose.
Yeah, and now here you are today. A middle-aged white woman in a young twink's body.
I thought you were just calling me a middle-aged white woman.
No, stuck in a twink's body. Speaking of twinks, Paul, how's your week? How's your blessings?
You know you could ask me every once in a while.
Okay, George, how was your week? How was your blessing?
Paul, what are your curses and blessings?
So my blessing is, as DJ knows, I am currently in a Sarah Bareilles phase.
Yes.
And
that's your blessing?
Yes.
Oh.
I've been listening to her music so much, and it's becoming a little bit of an issue. I keep listening to the same 5 songs over and over again. Love song, of course. I Choose You by Sarah Bareilles. Anything by Sarah Bareilles. Gravity. And there's that one from that Waitress musical,
yes.
which I don't think she's actually a waitress, but that's to be determined. We're going to have to do a little research.
Who knows? But I do like Sarah Bastiz.
Shut up, bitch.
You know, Sarah Barilla Pasta.
Barilla? Sarah Bastille, if you will. Her
Yeah.
government name.
That I tried to say Bastille and it just came out in the French version.
Bastille.
When because I'm trying to learn Portuguese, and so all my French is just coming back to haunt me.
Right. Now for my curse is shaving. And I'm not talking shaving up here. I'm talking shaving everywhere else. Because I have very sensitive skin, right? So when I shave, I get bumps and things. And that's always just been a thing.
I have to find it, but I have to send you. I found, it's a Tumblr or Reddit post. And I found it on Instagram. Because people will upload it with music and it becomes real.
Mm-hmm.
But it was somebody put out their stripper friends how do I get a smooth bodily shave, and it's a step by step this is what you do.
Ooh, I need that. I use CeraVe, and that's okay, but I still get bumps and things.
So what you have to do is, I can't remember if it's before or after, but you rub rubbing alcohol. Which, yeah, it's going to burn, but it kills anything, any bacteria that lingers from getting in, the freshly opened pores that aren't normally exposed.
Does that cause ingrown hairs? Because that's one of my problems, too. not to get too personal on the pod with y'all.
No, I did have it too. I think shaving can. I don't know about the rubbing alcohol, though. I think the rubbing alcohol is supposed to help.
Interesting.
I'm not sure, though.
We'll have to look into that.
Yes.
And while I'm contemplating that, DJ, how are your blessings and curses? What's going on this week for you?
My blessing for this week is I bought a Labubu.
And I am cursed to have to look at it. Like, what? I just don't get it. And the Labubu, it doesn't scare me. It's just fucking weird. Like, I don't get it. They're ugly. Like, I just don't get it. It's one of those, it's like silly bands or like passing trends. Like, no one's gonna care in like 2 months. Like, even now, like, no one really cares.
My curse is it's a fake. And I didn't realize it was a fake when I bought it. And so his name is Stanley.
Well, when you buy the Labubu off of the same black market, you get all your dead bodies. It's bound to happen.
Can I finish?
Yeah.
His name is Stanley, like Stanley, but with a lisp. He's going to be co-mascots with Jeremy.
Okay, making fun of people with lisps. I see you. Getting us canceled.
Just look. Doesn't he look like a Stanley?
I guess. Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to add about your Labubu?
No, he's going to come on our investigations with us now, though.
I don't think Jeremy would appreciate that.
Jeremy's a big brother.
Jeremy does not have a big brother?
Jeremy is a big brother.
No.
Jeremy's a big brother. He has a little brother now.
I refute that. We're going to fist fight after this once the cameras are off.
Stanley is a member of the team now.
I disagree.
You used up all of your vetoes last week.
On what, bitch? I didn't veto anything last week.
You know what you vetoed.
No, I don't.
Yes. You used up all your vetoes. You ran out.
Bitch.
You gotta wait till October.
He's saying that because he doesn't even know. What was your curse, bitch?
My curse was that it was a fake.
Oh, you already said that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a quick one.
Okay, so let's get into pop culture corner then a little bit. So, as I'm sure you all know, Justin Bieber dropped a surprise album yesterday.
Yeah.
And I gave it a good old listen, and it's not great. He tried to get experimental with it. Not great. He did say that it's supposed to be a precursor to a real pop album coming out later this year, next year. So looking forward to that. But why I did bring this up is so we can have a little bit of a conversation. How do you feel about artists surprise dropping albums? I know Beyonce's done it and a lot of big artists have done it.
I'm fine with it. I think it's, there are some artists and they kind of like edge you to the point of like torture with like, oh, an album's coming.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to come in 3 years.
Charlie Puth is currently doing that to us.
Yeah, and it's like, no, I'm working on it. It's coming. Like, don't worry. And I think that's ridiculous, and I'd rather you just go dark for 3 years and not say anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then just be like, surprise, I've been working on this all along, even if it's shit. Like,
That's
apparently...
that's literally what Justin did. And everyone went crazy, because I think Beyonce really was the first person to do this. Like, the first, like, huge person to surprise drop an album when she dropped I think it's actually her self-titled album called Beyonce.
Mm-hmm.
That was when I was in high school, but low-key, I'm here for it. If you're a big enough artist, like, why not?
Just do it.
Surprise drop the album, like you said. I completely agree with everything you said.
Yeah.
Now, how do you feel about Justin Bieber?
I don't think he's doing well, because I saw, like, the post that he put on Instagram accompanying it, and he just, like... He doesn't look like the Justin that I was in love with in high school.
Well, yeah, very that. He has grown up a lot. And I don't think he's happy in his marriage.
No, I really don't. And, like, I'm really worried, like, I'm really worried that he's going to end up, like, in a conservatorship like Britney Spears.
Oh,
Because, like, it seems like he does, like, try to say things, like, about, like, him being unhappy with Hailey.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden it just, like, goes away.
Right.
And it's happened, like, once it's like, okay, you meant to, like, you were mad and you posted and then you thought better of it.
Mm-hmm.
But multiple times, and I never particularly liked Hailey Bieber.
I don't know enough about her to have a real opinion about the girl.
I just thought she was a G-list celebrity that he picked because she was pretty, and then she's like trying to make it out like she's Hollywood royalty now because her uncle's Alec Baldwin.
Right. Honestly, if she didn't marry Justin, who would really be talking about her?
Nobody talked about her until they dated and got married.
Right. I wouldn't be talking about her.
And, like, a lot of, like, trad people are like, oh, like, finally a female celebrity who took her husband's name, like, going back to family values. And it's like, first of all, a lot of celebrities, when they get married, do take their husband's name.
Exactly.
But they continue to go by their maiden name because there's legal issues. Whereas, like, if you have a contract with a studio where, like, you're getting paid to make 3 movies,
right,
you have to be under that name. Or when you're a member of a union, you sign up under a name, and if you don't update it, you have to go by that name in that.
Exactly.
And also, sometimes it's just nice, like, in your career to be known for yourself. And just be like, yeah, I'm DJ Powers in my career, but legally I'm actually DJ Smith because I took my husband's name when we got married. But she wasted no time in becoming Bieber, and I don't think it's for family values. I think it's because he was the bigger celebrity and she wanted to tie herself to that.
Honestly, I'd do the same. Trust and believe. I'd be Paul Bieber tomorrow. Trust and believe.
Yeah, but, like, you're not a big celebrity.
Excuse you? I am the co-host of Crips and Quirks podcast, so you better put some respect on my name.
Exactly, you're the co-host. Don't forget who sits in the big
Bitch,
chair.
fuck you! Girl,
You didn't see that one coming.
I'll fight you, bitch.
Oh, the breakup episode. That's
Oh
what we
my
have to
God.
call this one.
The breakup episode. Oh my god.
The one where they break up. No, we're fine. That was a joke.
I know.
I love you.
Love you too.
This is a we each have a 50-50 share in this.
Yes.
Okay. Before I put my foot in my mouth anymore.
Do you have any other comments about Justin Bieber or Pop Culture Corner?
Yes, I do have something to address about pop culture.
Okay.
Can we please leave Benson Boone alone? Like, it seems everyone's like, oh, he's stealing queer culture. No, he's just exploring his own artistic identity. And nobody should be accused of queer baiting for doing that. And also, I think a lot of the problem is that he's a former Mormon. I personally think the Mormon church is a cult. And so rather than make fun of him for being an ex-Mormon, maybe we should embrace him for having escaped. And maybe rather than attacking these people who have done nothing, we should really focus on the people who are letting our country slide into tyranny and fascism and just being like, well, it doesn't affect me.
Period. Love Benson Boone.
Yes, and somebody had to defend him.
Yes, and we're defending Benson Boone until he eventually gets canceled.
Yeah. If he's actually queer baiting and doing terrible things,
then we take
that was
it back.
a joke.
We did it for the bit. Oh my gosh.
It's like that episode
You
of
guys are so
American Dad
silly.
last night. Like, that was a joke. Like, you just don't understand my comedy. I didn't mean any of it.
It's so funny. Okay, that's enough pop culture. Let's get into some alcohol.
Okay, what are we drinking?
Today we are drinking Rickshaw, a 2021 Cabernet Sauvignon.
Oh, what?
Sauvignon. Cabernet Sauvignon. Sauvignon. Sauvignon.
Cabernet Sauvignon.
Sauvignon.
Okay.
Sauvignon.
We've had Cabernet Sauvignon so much on this podcast. How do you not know how to say it?
Oh, I know how to say it.
Okay.
Rickshaw Cabernet Sauvignon comes from hand-selected vineyard parcels tended by family farmers across California. A regal yet friendly expression of this noble grape with rich flavors of blueberry, vanilla, and cedar that fill your glass with inky deliciousness.
Hate inky. Also, that would have been a lot funnier if every so many words you just mispronounced it, like you were mispronouncing Sauvignon.
We'll get it next time. We'll do it next time. But I do like this picture of this little deer on the front. It's nice. It's a nice little picture of a little deer, a buck.
I just don't understand why the deer when a rickshaw's like one of those little like carts that's pulled by a person on a bike.
I don't fucking know.
Neither do I. I want to look into this.
Maybe they're gonna murder the deer and use its antlers to build the rickshaw.
Oh.
You're welcome,
Okay.
kids. Okay, that was
a good crack.
Nice little crack. Love a good crack. We're gonna do ASMR pour number 1. I put ice in mine because I'm a little bitch. I'm an
I did not.
icy little bitch. All right. Cheers. Okay, as far as Sauvignons go, it's good. Nothing special, nothing crazy. I'm gonna give it 4 grapes. It's what Cabernet Sauvignon tastes like.
I don't know. I've had better. But I also don't know if I'm just not enjoying it because it's a little hot in here. My mouth is dry.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's very middle of the road. Nothing
yeah.
special, nothing
So I'm gonna give it
awful.
a 3. And normally I rate Cabernets higher because that is my favorite type of wine.
Yeah.
But it's just a little too dry today for me.
Yeah, I think I'll take mine back to 3 too. It's very middle of the road. Nothing special, but nothing awful. It's
Yeah.
If you're looking to have an average night at home, not looking to impress anyone, just want a little something to have with your spaghetti before you.
Does this have tobacco in it?
Tobacco? I don't think so.
Because I'm getting like a...
We had that one with tobacco.
I know.
And it was gross.
It was, but I'm getting like I think it's the cedar. I'm getting like a tobacco. You know, like the morning after you smoke cigarettes, you wake up and like your mouth still tastes like it tastes like an ashtray.
Yeah, because strawberries and cigarettes always taste like you.
Yeah, but like that's what I'm getting from this.
Did you get that reference?
Yes,
The Troye Sivan song, Strawberries and Cigarettes. One of my favorite Troye Sivan
mine too.
cigarettes.
And the music video is
songs.
beautiful.
Yeah, it's a good one. Now, I don't appreciate Love, Simon that much. I feel like Love, Simon is very much a gay story for straight people. And I don't fuck with that.
I don't know about that.
I very much think that. And I'm not really fucking with Love, Simon.
Have you read What If It's Us?
No.
It's written by Adam Silvera and Becky Albertini, who wrote...
Teeny.
She's the one who wrote Love, Simon, but they got together and they wrote one book, and it's every chapter's told from like it's about 2 boys falling in love in New York.
Yeah.
But they both wrote one character, so that each character really does have a really unique voice.
Oh, interesting.
I'll have to lend it to you. It's really good.
It sounds interesting. But for now, DJ, let me tell you a story.
I'm ready.
The American Dream. A house, picket fence, yard, 2 kids, and a dog. That's what people were searching for when they had moved to Staten Island, New York. This was the least populated and most spacious borough of New York City, a place you could move your family to get them out of the city and live a quieter life. It was the best of both worlds, the city across the bridge, and you get to live an idyllic life away from it all in a quiet, suburban neighborhood. But the one thing about dreams is there's always the chance of a nightmare. And that is what happened to Staten Island in the 70s. A terrifying urban legend came to life and terrorized the families of this New York borough. Today, we are going to be talking about Cropsey, the boogeyman of Staten Island.
Ooh.
Spooky.
So I would like to have some words with this Cropsey. Because I was given the title The Boogeyman of Staten Island when I was in high school. And I don't think it's big enough for 2 of us.
Right, you really were terrorizing all those tops back in high school. Now, we do have some trigger warnings here. There is trigger warnings for kidnapping, murder, and abuse. Okay, this is going to be one of our more serious episodes, not really a comedy episode. Lots going on here, okay? And I know a lot of people aren't familiar with the story of Cropsey, especially... I mean...
Yeah, when you said urban legend, I thought, oh, this will be fun, like Bunny Man.
Right. That's what I thought too, first researching this. But then I discovered what I discovered, and I think we are all in for a roller coaster ride.
Okay, let's get into it.
Okay. So, Cropsey was a rumored killer that roamed Staten Island in the 1970s. But first, let's talk about the setting. Let's talk about Staten Island a little bit. Unlike most of New York City, Staten Island has lots of woods surrounding it, and it is the least populated area of New York City. With there being so many wooded areas and isolated places, rumors started to pop up of people doing crimes in these isolated areas, one of which is the rumor that the mafia would actually use this place to dump bodies and like hide bodies, and just like various rumors of people just doing different crimes in the woods because it's so close to the city, right? All these people have to do is go across the bridge, and then like
Woods.
they have privacy. Yeah,
Yeah.
they have privacy in these woods. They have isolated places they can do these crimes.
Crazy.
One person describes Staten Island as having too many places to be isolated and alone, so if you have a bad idea, there are almost too many places to do it.
I don't like that. That's creepy.
Yes. All of this really makes this the perfect setting for Cropsey.
I don't like it.
Now, there are a couple of versions of the tale, the original versions of, like, where Cropsey came from and everything, because, as we said before, it's kind of an urban legend, right?
Okay.
Right. So, this is the most famous story of the Cropsey and where it really originated from, okay?
Is this like the Candyman?
No.
Oh, shit.
The story of Cropsey is of George Cropsey, a man whose house burnt down on Maston Lake.
Ooh.
George came home one evening to see the house burning down. His family had made it out. Well, all except for his son.
Oh.
It said he could hear his son burning inside, so he tried to run in and save him, but he failed and he ended up covered in burns and scratches. Shortly after this, his wife died of grief, and George went insane.
Can I know this isn't a funny episode. Can I say something kind of funny?
Yeah.
When you say he heard his son burning inside, did he hear his son screams or did he hear the sizzle of his roasting flesh?
He probably heard both
Okay.
as he got closer to try and save him.
Just because when you said he heard his son burning, I was like, I love the sound of roasting flesh.
Not that. He hadn't gone insane yet. But there was a summer camp near his cottage, and it was thought that one of the campers had accidentally started the fire by either, like, starting a campfire and was being irresponsible about it, and that started the fire, or, like, somehow maybe with a cigarette. There's multiple versions of how the campers started this fire by accident, right?
I think it's, if it's late at night and, like, there's no lights in there, and he, like, snuck away from the camp to, like, light a cigarette, and then if it was really dry and he threw the cigarette down and it like set the brush on fire and it set the house on fire. I don't think, unless all the wood's caught on fire.
I mean, it could. I mean,
I think you'd hear about it then.
there is a version of the tale where it was like a campfire that somehow caught the house on fire, and they were campers being irresponsible about their campfire. And now this is like they're young campers.
Right.
Like, it's a youth, like, you go away for summer camp, like,
yeah.
as a kid. It was that kind of
But
camp.
the camp is like down the road, right?
Yeah.
So why are they camping on?
Because they, like, snuck out of their camp and they were, like, sneaking away and being irresponsible and, like, being irresponsible with the fire and that kind
They're playing with the lighters.
Exactly.
Don't play with matches.
Now, Mr. Cropsey would take revenge on the campers by murdering him. The campers would try to fight back, and they even tried to call the police. But every time the police were called, Cropsey would run back into the woods and never be found.
Oh my god.
To this day, it is said you can still hear Cropsey's voice in the woods, and strange, threatening symbols are found, and people even say that they see Cropsey himself still in the woods to this day.
Okay,
But
so this is basically the plot to Sleepaway Camp.
Very that. It's giving your basic, like, it's Friday the 13th, Jason, sleepaway camp. It's very that. But you might be asking yourself, what does Cropsey look like? Well, there are varying descriptions of what Cropsey might look like. Some say Cropsey had a hook for a hand, and some say he carried a bloody axe. Others describe Cropsey's physical deformities, mostly from the fire, because he went into that fire, was covered in the burns and the scratches from trying to save his son from the flames. And obviously he's a tall man and a very looming character. Yes. Now, this story was commonly told at the summer camp and had many iterations, and eventually even made its way to Staten Island. See, the story of Cropsey really became one of those classic folk stories. Like, you could see how, like, you go away to summer camp, you hear the story of Cropsey, you come back, you tell your friends, and maybe they go to another summer camp, right? Or maybe even the camp counselors tell each other about it. And it's a good, like, story to scare kids from running off by themselves into the woods. And
being irresponsible.
Right, exactly. Try and keep them, like, maybe even teach them about fire safety. And like honestly, it's a spooky scary. Like when you're a kid and you're in the woods at night, like and there's this figure named Cropsey who's gonna come and murder you.
Yeah, that's insane.
And like these symbols, the camp counselors could even like draw symbols and be like, "Oh, that's Cropsey. He's here. You better be careful. Better not run out at night."
Yeah, and like, and also sometimes like when you're an older kid and you're watching younger kids, sometimes it's just like a power move where it's like, I'm gonna freak you out with a scary story.
Exactly.
We've all been there.
Exactly. Now, when this got to Staten Island, they had their own version of Cropsey, right? Yeah, obviously it's not a summer camp, so it's a different setting, right? Now, they would say in Staten Island, they say Cropsey lives in the Greenbelt, which is a big forest in the middle of Staten Island, and he would live in the basements and dark corridors of abandoned buildings in the woods. One of the main abandoned buildings was an abandoned tuberculosis hospital, but we cannot forget about the infamous abandoned Willowbrook State School that housed mentally handicapped individuals. These individuals faced a lot of mistreatment at the school, and this ties back to this. Well, actually, let me tell you how this ties to the story of Cropsey and Staten Island, because the iteration of Cropsey and Staten Island was an escaped mental asylum patient, right? And Willowbrook School was that asylum where they had the mental, and I'm sorry if mental isn't the right word, mentally disabled? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was a place that shouldn't have existed and that we have to be better about.
And Willowbrook State School was one of the worst places. There was a documentary done by a local news reporter that really blew this wide open, and they immediately had to shut down because the conditions in there were awful. But the story of Cropsey really goes back to this in Staten Island of that escaped mental asylum patient who escaped into the woods, and he's still there to this day living in the abandoned buildings there, right? Mm-hmm. So another story to keep kids from wandering too far into the woods, keep them from wandering in abandoned buildings, because as we know, abandoned buildings are very dangerous places for kids to be wandering and stuff.
Oh my god, yeah, because there's so many like structural integrity issues.
Right, exactly. And you don't want your kids there. And I mean, I'll tell you this information now. Well, actually, no, I'll save this information for later. But I will say that documentary that really shut down the school was done by Geraldo Rivera. He was a news reporter.
Geraldo.
Geraldo? Oh, you know this one?
Geraldo. Yeah, Geraldo is famous.
Yeah.
And then he hang on.
Gulp.
So he was a very famous investigative reporter.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I don't know if you're going to cover this, but, he found, Al Capone's safe or something, somebody's safe, and it was I found this thing, and we're going to find all this treasure. Mm-hmm. And, they opened it, and it was empty, and his career never recovered.
Oh, that's crazy. I wasn't going to cover that because the only importance he has to the story is shutting down Willowbrook State School.
Which is great. At least he did one great thing.
Yeah, and if you ever see any footage of this documentary, it's very disturbing. The conditions that were filmed and everything, it's very disturbing, and it was a very awful place while it was running. Obviously, the kids would keep telling the tale of Cropsey on Staten Island, and it would go through generations, right? And as kids would grow up, they would think it was just folklore, nothing to worry about.
Right.
It's just Cropsey. There's no real Cropsey. As you grow up, you're like, nothing to worry about. But there was something to worry about.
Oh no.
In 1987, when little Jennifer Schweiger went missing, and the horrifying legend of Cropsey had started to come to life. Now, the entire community was involved in the search for Jennifer, and the search lasted for 35 days until her body was uncovered in the basement of Willowbrook State School. It was uncovered from a shallow grave. Now, one thing, and this is very important to note right now because it comes up time and time again as I continue talking to the story and the victims of the story. It is important to note that little Jennifer did have Down syndrome. So keep that in the back of your mind as this story goes on. Now, Probably the most interesting thing they discovered while searching for Jennifer is that some of the people who lived in this school while it was running had returned and were living in the abandoned building.
Oh.
People even started rumors that families would dump their unwanted, mentally challenged kids to live in the underground community there. Now, no, Jennifer wasn't one of these kids. She had a loving family, and
it was
like
just
the whole community
while
was
they were
searching
looking,
for
they
her.
found
People were living there. They found whole communities of people living in tents and things. Like, it was interesting. Now, one of these people who lived there was Andre Rand, who was originally an orderly at Willowbrook State School. Andre Rand was also the prime suspect in the Jennifer case, and witnesses saw the two together before she disappeared. The police questioned him and surveilled him during the search for Jennifer, but found nothing. And this was not his first run-in with the law either. He was also charged with sexual misconduct with a 9-year-old girl before this, and that really helped make him the prime suspect of this case, right? Now, during this case and trial, there is a very famous picture of Andre. Now, this is a picture that is very famous of Andre. That one right there where he's drooling. They're taking him out of the... You can try and make it bigger, but
No, I got
you can see there, he doesn't look like a mentally well person,
No.
right? And you would think like him not looking like a mentally well person in that picture would maybe garner him sympathy, would maybe think, oh, maybe he wasn't capable of this. Maybe like he couldn't have done it or something like that. But this really just intensified.
It cemented it.
Yes. People started to attack him even more, right? And one interesting thing during this trial, the only evidence they had against Andre was that someone said they saw him with her like before she disappeared, and his camp was 150 yards from the grave where they found the little girl. There's no DNA evidence, there's no physical evidence. It's all eyewitnesses, and his camp happened to be close to that, right?
You know, there's a reason why in legal cases, like, there has to be, like, eyewitness accounts are fine, but also, like, they're so subjective.
Right. Like, eyewitnesses can change, your memory can change, like, you can't rely just on eyewitness accounts, and unfortunately, that's what they were doing because they had no evidence other than these two, and that also he had that misconduct, which it's awful he did that thing with that 9-year-old girl beforehand. And this is really also when the media started really sinking their teeth into Andre, and this is really when he started to become the real life Cropsey. Right. And there were so many rumors about him, like even rumors of him being like a part of a Satanist cult, and they were running some sort of Satanist church, because this is also the height of the satanic panic, right? So like they were adding the Satanist stuff, and like we'll get into more of victims that were tied to Andre. They would say like all of his victims that he was using, he would use them and give them as sacrifices to some satanic church, and they were using them as sacrifices, and they really just like painted them as this really awful person with not much evidence. And you know what's really interesting too is the place where little Jennifer was found, they had really went through there beforehand with a fine-tooth comb and didn't find anything. And it wasn't until they went back the second time when they found the grave. And a couple things to note about when they found her is that it wasn't a very shallow grave, as if like they wanted her to be found.
Yeah, so it almost seems like they were trying to pin it on
Exactly.
Andre.
And the blood, it was pulled, or like they worded it as the blood being like pulled or like stuck to her feet. So basically saying the body was moved. She was killed in a different position, because if you're basically she was probably killed standing up, because if the
Yeah.
blood's like pooling or
And
down,
probably even stored sort of vertically.
Exactly. And that also brings the debate, because during the 35 days when they were searching for Jennifer, the police did have Rand in custody for a long time. So this also sparked rumors of maybe he wasn't working alone. Maybe there's people out there like moving the body and things. There was just so much speculation. And in court, the only evidence they really had were the eyewitness testimonies and his camp being just 150 yards from where the body was found. But I do have a feeling there probably were a lot more camps that were close to where that body was, if there were these communities of people living there, right? But he was eventually found guilty. The jury couldn't decide on the murder case, so they dropped the murder charges and just charged him with kidnapping, and he got 25 years to life for kidnapping little Jennifer. Now, after this, investigators really started zoning in on Staten Island disappearances of children, and zoned in on 4 disappearances that may have been tied to Andre. Thais Jackson, a 10-year-old girl with learning disabilities who disappeared 4 years before Jennifer. Hank, a 21-year-old with the IQ of a 15-year-old who disappeared 3 years before Jennifer. 7-year-old Holly Ann Hughes, who went missing 6 years before Jennifer. And Alicia Pereira, who disappeared 15 years before Jennifer. To this day, none of their bodies have been found, and I'll tell you how they are tied to Andre Rand later. The main person they focus on, though, was Holly Ann Hughes, and 17 years into his sentence, Rand was back on trial for her kidnapping. Again, there was no real physical evidence. Someone had just saw Rand on the street the same day she had disappeared. Again, they had no body, no physical evidence, no DNA.
What street
Nothing.
did they see him on? Did they see him on her street or just a street?
Her street.
Yeah, I think they just saw him walking on a street.
Yeah, that could have been a thing, because this is 17 years later.
It's 17 years later, and also, not to sound, very, anti-police, but there are cases where, they want to, pin it on people, and so it's,
You got it exactly right on the head, DJ. That's what I was going to get into. You got it right on the head. Them wanting to pin it on someone and put a pin in it and give some sort of closure. And I even heard that the police person in charge of this was retiring, and he wanted to close the case before he retired. So,
yeah.
And Rand was the perfect person to do this. I mean, the media had painted him as this huge monster, right? And they think he's responsible for Jennifer, and the police were looking into those other murders, which I'll tell you later how they were tied to Rand. And they were like, someone saw him on the same street that day. There were a lot of fingers being pointed at Andre at this point for the kidnapping of this little girl. And Holly really shook the community just as much as Jennifer did. And there was a lot of call for just closure for this murder and the disappearance of this kid. I mean, when I say there were people obsessed with the disappearances of these children on Staten Island,
I can imagine. People with any kind of true crime can just get so...
there's some people who's taken over. They're walking through the woods this day looking for graves and evidence and things. There is a really amazing documentary on YouTube called Cropsey, who I'm going to shout out later in the episode. I'm going to give them their credit because it was a really amazing documentary. Throughout this entire documentary, there's just this lady who's obsessed with this, and she's walking around the woods with this retired police officer, and they continue to walk the woods to this day looking for just any sort of evidence. And it's to that point where people are just obsessed with this, and they're not only obsessed with the disappearance, they're obsessed with making Andre this monster.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You should be obsessed with finding the truth, and in us covering true crime, there's so many instances of somebody's murdered in a brutal way. and the police kind of try to pigeonhole, like, a local, like, petty criminal. Like, somebody who's like, oh, yeah, he has drug charges and, like, maybe some petty theft, but it's like, let's just get rid of him. Like, obviously.
Right.
And then later down the line, it's like, more people get killed, and it's like, in the same way, it's like, oh, like, no, like, it's just copycats, and it's the one killer the whole time.
Right, exactly. That is so funny, like how...
Or there's like one case where like a serial killer, they had him. Like the physical evidence all pointed to them, and they let him go because like they were like, it's going to be too hard of a case. We can pin it on this other guy. Better.
Exactly.
And it's like, we caught him once, like, he'll never do it again. And he went on to kill, like, 5 more people.
Right. That's the one thing about the police. They stay fucking it up. They'll let serial killers, like John Wayne Gacy, they'll have him in custody and let him go. Whereas, like, they have someone who might not be guilty, like Andre Rand, and keep them for 25 goddamn years. And 17 years later, when he's, please note, 17 years, that's getting close to that 25 years, and people are getting nervous that he might get out of that 25 years.
Oh,
so we got to bring back up this Holly case, too, and, like, tie him to that. So.
Jesus Christ.
So one interesting thing to note, during the Holly trials, one day on the bus going to the trial, Rand kept saying he was innocent, of course, and one of the officers replied to them, then you are a martyr for the safety of children, and that's what you are. Basically saying, you might be innocent, but you're a martyr now. Like,
oh my God.
Yes. Another interesting thing to note about the eyewitnesses in Holly's cases is that most of the eyewitnesses were former alcoholics or drug addicts who got sober and say now that they are sober, their memory is a lot more clear. And
that's not how it works.
I mean, your memory from when you were drunk and things like that, under the influence, would be shady, and it will continue to be shady. Your mind does get clear when you get sober, but you don't all of a sudden get memories back from when you're under the influence.
I mean, you think clearer after the fact.
Exactly.
But, like, you can't when I'm blackout drunk, when I'm sober, I can think back and go, oh, I remember I did this, that, and the other thing.
Right, exactly.
Also, to take evidence from somebody like, I was stoned out of my mind back then, but I saw him. Like, that's ridiculous.
It really is ridiculous. And just, like, this was all eyewitness testimony, too. Like, people had just saw.
It's just absolutely insane. Like, we're going to take, like, yeah, I was really drunk back then, but I could have swore it was him. It was kind of dark, and he looked a lot shorter, and he could have been a woman, and...
Right, exactly. So, basically, what happened to Holly, though? So, she went to purchase a bar of soap, right? And she went in, she was a little bit short, that's why the cashier remembered her so well. She was like 5 cents short of the soap, so... She left, and that was the last time she was seen, right? Witnesses say they saw Holly and Hughes in Rand's car, and that's the eyewitness that really tied them together, because like they saw Holly and Hughes with Rand that day. And again, it's all circumstantial evidence, right? Like, just people saying they saw Rand with her. There's no body, no physical evidence, there's nothing. It's all circumstantial. And, maybe he was with her that day. Maybe he, gave her that extra was going to give her that extra 5 cents and left, and then Holly and Hughes left and got abducted by someone else. It really could have been anything at this point, right? But, in the end, Andre was convicted again, tried guilty again, and got another 25 years to life, guaranteeing him dying in prison. He's still in prison to this day, right? Still maintaining his innocence, obviously. Now, I keep teasing you guys about, what ties Rand to those other people they were focusing on. Because right now we have a lot of sympathy for Rand and everything, right?
Is this where you flip everything on its head?
That's up for you to decide. Now, remember 21-year-old Hank, right?
Yes.
So the night he disappeared, he went out drinking. And that same night, after he went out drinking, he went to a diner afterwards. And he was seen at that diner with Rand. And that was, the diner was the last place he was seen. So that's what ties Rand with Hank's murder.
Okay.
Now, let's talk about little 10-year-old Thais. She was last seen talking to a man who looked like Rand, and Rand had a campsite less than a half mile from the motel where she disappeared from. See, Thais was going to go to a local store and get some chicken wings for her family, and her mom had fell asleep, woke up, realized Thais was gone, and called the police. But people say the last people who say they saw her said that she was with a man who looked like Reese. So, just more eyewitness testimony. Now, last but not least, little Alice. Rand was actually a painter at the apartment complex where Alice lived, right? And Alice's mom would say she would see Rand, like, standing, like, because there were multiple buildings.
Yeah.
She would see him standing at the apartment building across from there, staring over. And when Alice disappeared, she was playing in the hallway with her brother, and then her brother left for a moment and then came back and Alice was gone. So that's how Rand got tied in there, is he was a painter of the building at the time, right? So that's why she got tied in there. Now again, there's no bodies for any of these kids. It's just Rand was with these people before they disappeared. Now, will I say that is a little strange, you know? Most people, like, don't know, like, any missing people.
Yeah.
Like, being tied to that many missing kids on top of having that many... Well, remember that 9-year-old girl I told you about? I won't go into what he did with that 9-year-old girl because it's really disturbing. But that tied in... I am kind of getting a little more where people were coming from. Now, there was also an incident where Rand picked up a group of kids outside of a YMCA. He took them out to dinner. He got them food, and then he took them to an airport. And then after the airport, don't know why he took them to the airport, probably considering taking the kids somewhere and then realizing you can't just put a group of random kids on a plane. And then after that, he took them to a local park where he was going to try and play hide and seek with them. And that is when he got caught, and they were like, what are you doing with these fucking kids? And one of the kids who was actually a part of that group said they think Andre was trying to kidnap them, but he realized he had gotten his head in too far, like gotten way into over his head. Many. Exactly. And another story I'll tell you about Andre. While they were searching for Jennifer, they had him go live with a priest for a little bit so he could be under constant surveillance. So while he was living with the priest said he was pretty normal, but he would confide in the priest that Rand would confide in the priest that he did not like mentally disabled people. And yeah, he basically made a whole bunch of horrible comments about mentally disabled people. And all of the people who had disappeared were mentally disabled, thus tying him further to these murders. Now, one last thing I will note is that documentary from Cropsey. They did find someone who said they were Rand's mother. It's not mother. I'm so sorry. It was his sister.
Okay.
It's not too clear, like, if it was actually her sister, whatever. She claimed to be her sister. But in the documentary, they're a little iffy about it. But she did say they had a very normal childhood growing up and everything, and that they weren't beaten or abused or anything like that by their mother, because those rumors did pop up too, that he was, like, abused and that made Rand the way he was and everything. But his sister would corroborate that he was not beaten or abused or anything of the sort. Now, I'm going to give you a moment to digest that while I read this final thing for you. So, is the man dubbed Cropsey the real boogeyman of Staten Island? Or was he just a scapegoat for the police so the people had someone to blame the disappearances on for closure? Like most urban legends, the lines between myth and reality are blurred, and we will never fully know the truth about Cropsey. Well, unless Andre Rand talks before his time on this earth has expired, I guess he'll go on to be part of another urban legend.
Damn.
So what do you think after hearing all the... And I will say, I could have gotten a lot deeper into this. There's so many details out there, but I couldn't do all of it in one part. So there are a lot of details out there, and I will suggest going to watch the documentary Cropsey on YouTube, and it's by Barbara Brancaccio and Joshua Zeman. That's Zeman.
Put it right here.
Yes, they did an amazing job on that documentary. Just amazing. And there's so many articles and things about Cropsey and Staten Island and Andre Rand being the real Cropsey. But yeah, what do you think?
Oh my god, I don't even know. Because, like, I was so, like, oh my god, it was a pin job, like...
Exactly.
And then, like, you came out of left field with, like, no, there's actually, like, some evidence that it was might have been him.
Now, let's also note that Rand himself is a little mentally challenged himself.
Yes.
Like, he is not a mentally well person.
Right.
I mean, even before the school closed down, he would live, like, outside the grounds, like, just in his little campsite by himself, like, just, like, on purpose. Like, he... not okay as a person.
Yeah.
Like, not mentally well.
Yeah, I don't know. But I also think, like, I don't know. I don't think, like, this is just awful.
Yeah, it's a lot. I don't know what to think either. Do I think Andre might have had something to do with some of the kidnappings? Maybe. But where are the bodies?
And I don't know. It's like... I don't know.
Exactly. We need physical evidence, and
Something.
I think he was very much tried unfairly. Whether he did or not, it was not a fair trial. There's no physical evidence tying him to these murders. And if there are that many people living there underground, it could have been any one of those people. And it is New York City, just outside of New York City. A lot of shady things happen.
And, you know, it is very telling that... So, in criminal cases, when they bring multiple charges against you, they will always try to... If the case seems weak, they'll try and get you on a lesser charge first.
Right.
So that if that fails, they can, like, press the murder and be like, oh, well, here's all the evidence from the kidnapping trial plus this. Because you don't want to, and also you want to start with, especially if you don't have a lot of evidence for murder, you want to start with something less. So that if you find more evidence, you can try them just once for murder. Because once you've been tried for something, you can't be tried again.
Right.
And so it's just, it seems like they were like, okay, let's try him for kidnapping. Oh, he went through. Okay, we don't have to worry anymore.
Right. And it was more closure for the police. Because, like, they were filming this documentary during the trial of Holly Ann Hughes, right? And after he was convicted guilty of Holly, and he was going to spend his life in prison, they talked to Holly's family and stuff afterwards, and they're like, yeah, like, it's cool or whatever, but we still don't have that closure. Like, where's her body? We're never going to have closure until they find her, because... there's always, like, no matter how dumb it might seem to someone, they're always going to have that thought in their brain, like, oh, is she still out there, though? Like, until there's a body, they're not going to have closure. Like, yeah, he's whoever's behind bars, but there's still, like, not good evidence.
Yeah, and it's...
The family didn't even get closure. It was more closure for the police.
Yeah, and...
I mean, Jennifer's family got closure because there was a body there, right?
Yeah, but... the rest, this is just I mean, you presented it very well. It's just
Thank you.
Awful story.
And it's really interesting to think, like, how an urban legend that stemmed from a stupid campfire story that's
got, like, tied to
this
this
real person and added to the hysteria and added to painting this person as such a madman.
Yeah, and I'm sure, like, just the stigma against people with educational disabilities.
Yeah.
I mean, because, like, obviously Rand isn't a well person.
Exactly.
And, like, all of his victims had people with educational disability and special needs. But, oh my god, like, I can just imagine, like, for probably to this day, like, if you walk, like, parents in Staten Island, like, walking past with their kids and somebody who's, like, got Down syndrome and just, like, yanking their kid closer to them.
Right.
Which is terrible.
Right. It's so crazy. And, like, what's even crazier is, like I said, like, in the intro, they move there for this quiet suburban life, and then all of a sudden, the all these kids start missing, and now there's this black cloud, which you could argue there was always the black cloud over the community with the not only the tuberculosis hospital, but also Willowbrook State School being such an awful place, and people just like even dumping their unwanted family members there. It's really the story of Cropsey is a very, very...
And it's wild that they tied like Cropsey, which was like a guy who had been in a fire and he lost his son and he was trying to like exact revenge.
Right. It's like a story of telephone, how things change, how folklore
and like how that
change.
turned into like, oh yeah, it's a guy who's like attacking special needs kids.
Right, and I think it's a comment on how like folklore can change based on where you are geographically, because it very much makes sense, like changing Cropsey to be the escaped mental asylum patient trying to murder people versus the guy getting revenge on the campers at the campground. It's a very interesting comment on how folklore and like things can change, and like just how things change of word of mouth. And that can even be a comment on the trial of Ayn Rand, because it's very like he said, she said type of thing that can be so easily changed and manipulated. And the human memory is not very reliable at all.
What's his name?
Andre Rand, sorry.
Andre. Yeah, I was about to say...
Sorry,
because...
I said it wrong. My bad. It's Andre Rand.
Yeah.
I said it right the first couple times.
Did.
But
You did. I was just... There's a author named Anne Ryan. A-Y-N. Rand. Sorry, Anne Rand. And so it sounded almost like... And I was like, wait. Do they have the same name?
No.
I totally forgot his first name.
It's Andre. Nope, it's Andre. He had a different name from birth and he changed it to Andre Rand. But
This was awful.
Yeah, it's a very awful story.
I'm going to be sad for the rest of the day. Thanks for nothing, Paul.
Anytime. You're ruined.
No,
lives.
you did. You presented that very well.
Thank you. And I really was not expecting this story to end up like this when like I said, like, you had no clue who Cropsey was. I had no clue who Cropsey was before this story. And I had no clue what I was getting myself into. And this is definitely more of those episodes that's like really has you thinking about a lot of things.
Yeah.
And it's very much a philosophical debate and a debate about so many things in society and language and folklore and just all that stuff in general. Yeah. Well, that is the story of Cropsey. Do you have any final thoughts,
No,
DJ?
I don't.
No smash or pass for this episode,
Yeah, I
obviously.
don't blame you.
My final thoughts is, I don't know. It's just, we're not going to know until we have some sort of physical DNA evidence tying him, or I wouldn't even trust a confession from Rand at this point. Like, even if he confesses, I don't think he's mentally stable enough to confess and it be a reliable confession. So and it's so sad. Those families are never going to get those closure until there's some sort of scientific or physical evidence tying Rand to these, or someone else to these murders and kidnappings. Like, it could have very well been someone else. So maybe if we get an update on it, maybe we'll do a follow-up update episode if there's ever any updates or future trials regarding any of the other disappearances or murders on Staten Island. So we hope you guys enjoyed the story of Cropsey, and this is very much one we want to hear from you guys.
Yeah,
and
please.
Let us know what you think, okay? Just comment down below. Do you think he did it? Do you not think he did it? Like, what do you guys think? Because we want to hear from you guys for sure and get your takes on this one, because there's so many ways you could look at this, and we are very curious.
Yeah, please connect with us, like, subscribe, follow. Please connect with us on all of our social medias listed below. And if you have personal stories, please email them to us. Paul, where can they find you?
You can find me at my personal Instagram and TikTok at Paulember, Paulember. And as usual, it's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
And if you'd like to follow me, you can do so on Instagram and on TikTok at The Real Deej Powers. And until next time, guys, keep your crips tight.
And your corks loose. Bye. Well, that was sad.
That was... Christ.